your mindset. Again, instantly shift your perspective and improve the state of mind that you are in. For those of us that are new to the broadcast, I welcome you. And for those that consistently tune into the stream, you guys know I have nothing but love for each and every single one of you. In case you do not know, my name is David Gibson, also known as D1 Gibson here in the virtual space. To begin the conversation, family, please comment below. Shift your perspective. Shift your perspective. Now, whether you're catching this broadcast live or you're catching this on the replay, due to the fact that you are tuning into this stream and engaging in this conversation, I'm assuming that you are an ambitious individual. You have a vision, a purpose, and you have goals that you're aiming to accomplish, right? You're living this goal-oriented lifestyle. You want to become the best version of yourself. Now, it's important for us to understand that a part of that journey is not going to be just simply sunshine and rainbows. I saw a meme on social media the other day where it talked about the journey of success, and it talked about how we have the expectation that there's this linear path towards our destination that we're aiming to arrive at, whatever that may be. That personal goal, that professional goal, that financial goal, that physical goal, that fitness goal, whatever you're aiming to accomplish, we can often lead into it with the expectation that it's going to be a clear path to the destination. That's the expectation, but the reality is that journey may have some ups and some downs, some twists and some turns. Some moments when you win and moments when you experience failure and setback and rejections and discouragement, and the list can go on and on and on. And if we're not careful, family, the process can often box us into a corner where we get so discouraged or disappointed to the point that we feel defeated. And for many people, what happens is when they find themselves in that situation or that particular circumstance, they give up. They give up on the goal. They give up on their vision. They give up on their dream or improving the quality of their life because the process is too difficult. But on the flip side of that, there's some individuals that navigate that journey, and they too experience adverse conditions and difficult circumstances and setbacks and people that don't believe in them and people that count them out and odds that are stacked against them, but they find a way to continue to move forward. And I'm very big on really studying human behavior, like what drives people to do what they do, what drives them to show up in the manner that they show up. And what I have found, family, it is not that these individuals that succeed, they have more intelligence or they have greater capabilities or they have more gifts or talents or they have more intelligence or education. It really derives itself from these individuals having the willingness to maintain focus. Even when things are deterring their attention, they learn how to center themselves. And as it relates to today's conversation, shift their perspective when needed and stay in alignment with where they're aiming to take their life, right? Perspective is key. Perspective is essential to us making progress towards what we're aiming to accomplish. Your perspective, in fact, can either be the key to your breakthrough, the key to your transformation, or it can be the root as to why you feel stuck. Your perspective is how you view things, how you look at a particular situation, how you define something that you're experiencing. And the perspectives that we have are largely shaped based upon our beliefs, our experiences from our past, and in many cases, our values, right? And if we maintain the same perspective and never level up our mindset, then we'll always create the same results, right? If we approach this scenario in the same way we approach the last scenario as we're aiming to improve the quality of our life, we may not get better results. We have to constantly upgrade our mindset, maintain the proper perspective, and make sure we're keeping our mind, our thoughts, our words, and every part of us in alignment with where we're aiming to take our life, right? So I want to talk to those individuals that are aiming to do something with themselves. You're aiming to better who you are. You're aiming to progress towards this vision that you have. And maybe you're in a season right now where you're experiencing some challenges, some difficulties, some things that are kind of just throwing you off, and you feel as if you can't make it. You feel as if you're the only one that's experiencing what you have to face. You feel as if you can't handle this load that's being thrown on you, and it's got you in this emotional state where you feel defeated. Here's what we need to do. Shift your perspective. Shift your perspective. Yes, again, maybe you are in a difficult situation or you're in a challenging experience right now. You're working hard and it seems like your work is in vain and you're disappointed that you're not where you want to be. Maybe you've been working diligently and you're building your business, or you're aiming to climb the corporate ladder, or you're aiming to get that higher education. You're looking to get that certification for your profession. And you're up against this roadblock and it seems impossible. And now you feel some type of way. You got to shift your perspective. What I have found from personal experience, when I face adverse conditions, when I face difficulties and setbacks and moments when I'm wrestling emotionally, and I've got this internal conflict, right? This part of me that wants to continue to move forward, but then this part of me that feels discouraged and defeated. What I've learned to do in those moments when I feel uneasy is to disrupt that negative thought pattern. Now, D1, how do I do this? How do I implement this idea and this concept that you're discussing? I'm glad you asked, Rick. It's very simple. The way that you disrupt this thought pattern is simply by asking a different question. Because keep in mind, here's what's at play, family. Let me break the dynamics of this down. When we find ourselves in emotional states when we're discouraged, or when we feel hopeless or powerless, or as if we're defeated, right? What's happening is we're putting our thought pattern in this perpetual state of echoing these negative thoughts, negative scenarios based upon what we're experiencing in the current moment. So what we want to do is to disrupt that pattern, that cycle, simply by asking a different question. When I find myself feeling uneasy, right? Maybe I experienced some form of failure. Maybe something didn't work out. Maybe a contract got rejected, right? This deal didn't land and go through. Maybe something that I've been working on or working hard and diligently on, it's not working out. Instead of being stuck in that situation, what I learned to do is ask myself an empowering question. And one question that I'm often asking myself to shift my perspective is simply, is there a better way for me to look at the situation? Is there a better way for me to view what's happening right now? And this is the power of perspective, because what perspective does, when you maintain an effective perspective, it allows you to step away from the situation at hand. Most importantly, remove the emotion that you're attaching to it, right? That emotion of anger or fear or maybe discouragement that you're attaching to the circumstance or situation, when you remove that, now you can take an objective view at a subjective experience. And you're able to see the actual experience for what it truly is. You're able to look at the incident or that situation that occurred for what it truly is. And now you can make a sound decision. Now you can consciously decide what your next move is going to be, rather than allowing the emotion that's attached to that experience to dictate how you show up, how you feel, how you're moving forward from this point on. So as we're moving forward with this conversation, to that one that feels some type of way on this Monday morning, right? Something may have happened last week and you're showing up and you're like, man, I really don't feel like doing XYZ, right? Or the necessary steps that I got to take to get to where I'm aiming to be, because is it really worth it? I don't know if I can overcome this challenge. Shift your perspective by asking a different question. Is there a better way for me to look at this situation? In essence, what I'm training us to do, family, is assisting us in training our mind to seek out the good in every experience, because there's value in everything that we face. Many times we miss the value because we're stuck in the negative. We're stuck in how we feel about the situation, and how we feel is based upon how we're looking at it, right? It's like I was watching the NBA the other day, right? And they were looking at this foul and they saw it from one angle and they said, let's take another look at it, right? Let's shift the angle. And they saw it from a different angle. And now that gave them a different perspective at the play at hand. And the same is true with life. Many times we're so stuck in this single perspective at how we're looking at it from our point of view. Again, you have to step back and see the overall experience for what it truly is by shifting your perspective. That closed door may be an indication that there's another open door for you to walk into. That person that told you no, that the rejection may be redirection to get to something greater. But if you're stuck in your frustration or your agony, right? If you're stuck in that disappointment, you may miss your blessing and your breakthrough simply because you never shift your perspective and you take it for what it is in that moment. Remove the emotion, step away from it, and ask yourself a different question. So as I wrap up this conversation and conclude this broadcast, here's the call to action. I challenge us. When you feel those negative emotions beginning to arise within you, become conscious and aware in those moments. Become conscious and aware of what you're feeling. Don't suppress them, right? Embrace them, invite them, and ask them what they're communicating to you. As you feel those moments of discouragement, allow yourself to be human because we all experience these emotions, but don't be stuck there. Shift the emotion by shifting your perspective. And this is going to help maintain an effective mindset as you're working towards your goals and your dreams. Ask yourself different questions that will lead to solutions because catch this, family, it's important for us to keep in mind. You can't solve a problem with the same level of thinking that created it, right? If you're looking to move forward, if you're looking to do anything worthwhile, anything great, you're going to experience some challenges and some difficulties. But if you get stuck in the moment where you feel some type of way, you'll never progress towards that ultimate goal. You have to improve the way that you think, shift your perspective, see the situation from a different angle, define it for what it truly is, and then make a power move towards where you're aiming to go. D1, what's a power move? That's when you may feel like giving up, but instead you leverage your personal power and you keep moving forward, right? That's when you feel like throwing in the towel and you feel as if there is no way out of the situation that you're in, but you shift your perspective and you see the light at the end of the tunnel and you keep pressing towards the ultimate goal that you're aiming to accomplish. That's the power move that I'm encouraging us to make this week. Because again, as you're working towards your goal, you're going to experience some moments when you feel like giving up, some challenges, some things that don't work out the way that you initially planned them to. But to maintain that effective mindset, you got to master your mentality. Seek out the good in everything that you experience and actively work to shift your perspective in ways that keep you aligned with your vision, your purpose, and your goals. If you slid into this conversation in this broadcast and I was unable to give you a shout out, be sure to comment below. And if this is your first time, or maybe your first time in a very long time, I welcome you and I want to shout you out as well. Put a number 1 in the comments and I'll be sure to shout you out before the broadcast concludes and wraps up. Tori is in the building, says, I needed this D1. Excellent. Take it, apply it. Let's make progress towards our vision this week. My negative emotions will not control me. I will control my emotions. And that's the key, Sheila, right? We have to understand, like, emotions are things that we create, right? We're not victims of circumstances. We are creators of circumstances. The emotional state that you are in is something that you curate, right? The emotions that we experience, these are created by how we're looking at our situations and circumstances that we find ourselves in, the meaning that we are attaching to what it is that we are facing. So if you don't like how you feel, you have to change the meaning that you're attaching to the situation at hand, right? You may feel discouraged because, hey, you're not where you want to be, but shift that mindset by understanding that you're not where you used to be. Yes, you made a mistake and you fell short and you feel some type of way. You feel hopeless and defeated. Shift your perspective by finding the lesson in the mistake. How can you take some value out of this experience and profit from misfortune? Find the good in the difficult moment, right? This is how we maintain an effective mindset. Because keep in mind, family, every day this week, you know who's in charge of your attitude? You. you. It's not your dog. It's not your neighbor. It's not the person that cut you off as you're on your commute to work, right? It's not that client that's very difficult to work with. It's not your coworker that rubs you the wrong way. No, you are in charge of your attitude. So again, leverage your personal power and decide how you're going to feel in any given moment. Now, granted, there's some things that happen and things that occur that may throw us off of our game plan, that may throw us off of being centered. But recenter yourself in those moments by shifting your perspective and finding the good in everything that you experience. Again, this is not something that I've just read, something that I've heard. This is something that I actively live and implement in my day-to-day life. So again, the call to action is to shift your perspective by asking yourself empowering questions. When you feel some type of way, ask a different question to give you a different result. That's going to help you shift your state of mind, because again, you can't solve a problem with the same level of thinking that created it. Upgrade your mindset. Think on a greater scale. Look at it from a different perspective. That will help you change your situation for the better, right? If you want to change your situation, start with your mindset. That new mindset that you adopt and create will help you create a solution for the problem at hand. Let me wrap this thing up before we start another train. The no's are God's direction. The difficulties are God's lesson. Hold fast to your positive confession. I like that, Vita. Excellent. Again, comment below if I didn't shout you out, or if you're new to the broadcast, put a number 1 in the comments below. I'll be sure to shout you out as well. Sheila, you're so very welcome. Also, family, if we've yet to connect on other social media platforms, be sure to connect with your boy. At D1 Gibson is my handle pretty much on all platforms, including Instagram, LinkedIn. Well, not LinkedIn. I don't think my handle is at D1. It's at David Gibson. But Twitter, Facebook, and then subscribe to our YouTube channel if you've yet to do so. We've got some great things coming in the very near future that is exclusively for YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to the channel for more value that will help you improve the quality of your life. Now, with all of that being said, family, let's wrap this thing up, because you got dreams to catch and success to create. So we got to get busy being great on this Monday morning. But before we conclude today's conversation, if you find yourself in a difficult situation or challenging experience, just remember, this too shall pass. Be encouraged. I know sometimes it gets rough, it gets challenging, but as it gets rougher, you get tougher, and you can keep persisting until you succeed. Don't give up, because if you quit, you'll never get there. But if you keep taking a step, you keep pushing yourself, you keep moving forward, eventually you get to where you're aiming to be. But whatever you do, don't make a permanent decision that's based upon a temporary circumstance. Keep moving forward. And if nobody else tells you that they love you today, remember, your brother from another mother, D1 Gibson, has nothing but love for each and every single one of you. Now, with all of this being said, on this Monday morning, take what we discussed during this conversation and apply it to your day-to-day life. You can shift your perspective instantly. You can shift how you feel internally in any given moment by reframing how you view the situation at hand, by looking at your circumstances from a different perspective. And this will assist you in maintaining an effective state of mind. Let's just not hear it. Let's not just be inspired by it. Let's be transformed by it. Let's apply it to our day-to-day life as we operate this week. My last call to action as we conclude this conversation is on this day and every day this week. I want you to be effective. I want you to be successful. Live with some passion. And most importantly, family, 3 pounds to your chest. Please join in with me. 1, 2, 3. Be powerful. Have a phenomenal Monday, family. Peace.